What's shaking, Mega Maniacs? It is President's Day weekend. Monday Night Raw has finished up, and you are tuned in for the most interactive post-Raw experience available. You've turned your browsers to megapowersradio.com, and we thank you for joining us, and we're going to be inviting you to participate all throughout tonight's show to talk about what happened on Raw tonight. What did happen on Raw tonight? We saw some more confrontation between Dean Ambrose, Brock Lesnar's advocate Paul Heyman, and Roman Reigns. We had a surprise victory over Paige. Who beat her? We'll talk about that. We have a tease for an award. That's pretty much all we got. It really was kind of a lame duck show, guys, but we'll talk about this as much as we can, take your comments as much as we can. But first, let me tell you how you could support this show. If this is your first time listening, we thank you for joining us. And if you want to support what you're hearing here, please head over to Patreon, where you can subscribe to us for as little as $1 a month. This is a free show, guys, and we do this ad-free out of our love for doing such things. But it is a costly endeavor. And if you guys can spare some extra coin, you can, if you choose, subscribe to us just like you would subscribe to a Netflix or anything else at a price you choose. For as little as $1 every month, you go to Patreon, you can put that in there to help us keep the ball rolling, keep the lights on, and bringing you shows like the Raw Post Show, All Talk Show, Daceman Show, Hot Fire Mixtape, pay-per-view post shows, and all the other cool content that comes to you live from megapowersradio.com. You can also support us just by joining us live here every Monday for the Raw Post Show. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. You can also subscribe to us on all the archive means for the show. We are on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, TuneIn Radio, and all these things can be found with links on smarkoutmoment.com. If you are enjoying the show and you want to participate, please join us. There's a chat room on our Mixler broadcast page. Give shout out to the folks who got here early and already in there. We got Wazili, Mauro Supremo, Silent Wind of Doom, Peter Picanini, Kaylin Ferris, Ben Guest 1, Carl, period, Bondrus, and Angie Pie 4. Thank all of you for joining here. If you are tuning into this show elsewhere, you should navigate yourself to the Mixler broadcast page, where you can participate in the chat, where there's two conversations going on at once. All the cool cats there are always having separate conversations for what we have going on here, and it's pretty fun to see the back and forth that goes on with both. You can also tweet to us at Raw Post Show if you don't want to get yourself involved in something as deep as a chat, or if you're feeling really brave, head over to megapowersradio.com, go under the participate part of the page, and you will see the speak pipe widget where you can leave us a voicemail, which will get sent to us, and then we can play it here live on the air, where we will give our reactions or answer your question, whatever it may be. Whew, mouthful to get here at the beginning of every show. Let's get things started with the panelists. First off, my name is Mike Paden, Station Director here at Mega Powers Radio, and with me tonight is Mr. Stephen Wago.
Yep, just me. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, everyone else kind of flaked out tonight. I don't know if it's everyone was at the Grammys or what was going down, but everyone else was doing something else. But that's fine. We're going to keep bringing you a show here no matter what, and we appreciate all of y'all for being here. So, Wago, we always like to start things off. What is the big thing you took away from the show?
I sure hope we get Dean Ambrose versus Triple H, because that seems to be the title feud that they're pushing. And somehow I think we're still getting Roman, so yeah, pointless direction.
See, I feel something a little bit different. Why don't we just go ahead and go into this, because this was our big story for the night. Dean Ambrose came out to start the show, calling out Brock Lesnar, but it's Stephanie McMahon coming out instead. She tells Dean that he will get an F5, but it's going to be a fatal 5-way for the Intercontinental title. We almost knew this was going to happen at some point. They were just going to have Dean Ambrose get put into some insurmountable obstacle on Raw with his IC title on the line. Well, that day had come. He got put in the fatal 5-way. It was with Tyler Breeze, Stardust, Kevin Owens, and, of course, himself. And Dolph Ziggler. I don't know if I mentioned him. People always forget about Dolph Ziggler. Kevin Owens regains his Intercontinental title with a pop-up powerbomb on Tyler Breeze. Fun opening match. Got a lot of cool names out there, like Stardust. When was the last time we saw him doing anything fun? So that was cool. Kevin Owens got the title back. A lot of people wanted him to be the one holding it going into WrestleMania, hopefully for maybe a Sami Zayn match. Who knows if they're going to have time to work that out. I don't think so. It looks like Dolph Ziggler actually is the guy who wants to be the first contender for it, whether that's just for Fastlane or what. Who knows? Wago, before we dig into Dean Ambrose, this whole situation that happened to him in the Intercontinental title.
So, if this is just to build heat, so for Dean versus the Authority, I'm perfectly okay with this. However, if Dean is just in some random fucking WrestleMania match, this whole thing would have pissed me off. Why should have Kevin Owens dropped the belt in the first place if you're just going to put him back on him? Same with Kalisto and the US title with the whole Alberto debacle. I hate that shit.
That was like a week. Like, at least with this, Dean had it for a couple months.
It's more... I can tolerate this more, but at the same time, Dean hasn't really done much with the IC title.
He did more with it than he did with the US.
That's true, but that's not kind of... To be quite honest,
yeah, it's not a very
really
big
hard.
compliment. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a little... I would have rather Owens kept the belt. So when somebody does beat him at Mania, or even later on if that was the decision, it would have meant more.
Well, they're teasing Dolph Ziggler being his first opponent for it. Oh, God. I am already so over those two facing each other.
They have terrible chemistry, and I don't know why. And because they're such great performers, you'd expect... these classics, but they just don't happen.
Sometimes water and oil just end up, they can't go mix them with each other, no matter how good they may be on their own and with other things. Sometimes you just can't put them together. And that's fine, but I wish they would just realize that, and I don't know why they think putting a title on the feud is going to make it any better.
I'd be happier if they slotted Tyler Breeze into the match.
Hell yeah.
Just to shake things up.
There was never really a conclusion for Ziggler and Breeze. Was there?
If there was, they didn't do a very good job of clarifying it.
No, I think they just went their own ways, and then Summer and Breeze went their own ways, and nothing really ever happened. Like, there was no conclusion to any of that. They were just all like, all right, we're going to go do other things now.
Well.
In which case, in Tyler Breeze and Summer Rae's case, has been mostly nothing. But we'll get to Summer later. Surprise with her. So we got our champion, Kevin Owens. We go to the back with Renee Young. She's interviewing Dean Ambrose, saying that he has more motivation than ever to win at Fastlane and go on to WrestleMania to face Triple H. So that's, as you were saying, really building it to making it seem like Dean Ambrose is the man who should win here. Well, Renee sends it back to the announcer table. Byron goes to speak for all of 2 seconds until Michael Cole cuts him off and says, we got to go back to Renee. And Byron just gets this really dejected look on his face. Kevin Owens is there with Renee Young saying that he was right. And that's when Dolph Ziggler comes up saying that he should be the first challenger. The hell with this. And also, they had the person clapping off screen, and I'm pretty sure almost everybody expected that to be Sami Zayn.
Yeah, that's immediately what I thought. I'm like, oh, awesome, they're actually going to bring Sami into this, and I was sorely disappointed when I saw Dolph Ziggler. And maybe that's just me expecting too much, but I'm really just over Dolph. Not just over Dolph in this match, but him in general. He doesn't do anything for me anymore. He's a lost cause. And the fact is, there's no reason to get invested in him anymore.
We got a tweet coming in from Dane Quinn tweeting to us at Raw Post Show. Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
I definitely wouldn't be against it. I'd
be more excited for that than Styles and Jericho.
Definitely. I think this. I'm actually enjoying this AJ versus Jericho feud, but I don't think I'd enjoy it for another month. So I'm hoping that has some finality at Fastlane. AJ versus Kevin Owens, I definitely could get into, even if the build to the feud isn't that good. The match is going to deliver.
We have New Day out, rambling something about recorders and sounding like turkeys. This was fucking awful. This prompts Mark Henry to come out after they make fun of him. And we have a match between Big E and Mark Henry, which really wasn't bad. I mean, these guys, unlike Dolph and Kevin Owens, have good chemistry, and these aren't guys known for being great ring technicians, but yet they had a fun little match here until the end, where something really funny happened, where Big E lifts up Mark Henry, which is still an amazing feat, even though Mark Henry's lost a lot of weight. Still an impressive sight, but something happens where Mark Henry has to jump off and just falls right to the ground. Big E goes for the pin, and then the match is over.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's a report that comes out about what exactly that was. I've thought, okay, so he hopped off his shoulders. Is he going to pick him up for the World's Strongest Slam? No, he just drops to the ground. It was really weird. I hope Henry's okay. I'm not sure what happened there. It was really bizarre. The commentators actually did a decent job of trying to cover it up. I mean, it wasn't the best, but given the circumstances,
No,
you can't really blame them. Yeah, they're just like, oh, it's the damage to his ribs. He escaped the move, but he crumpled anyway. It's like, yeah, it's kind of all you can do.
Silent the Doom saying yet another injury. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Maybe he just was too winded and he couldn't hold himself up there any longer. Who knows? All the best for Mark Henry though. He's supposedly at the end of his run anyway. He's gonna start riding off in the sunset.
It would be a shame to see him go out that way though.
Absolutely. Brie and Charlotte did something. That's all I wrote for my notes. You skipped this segment, right?
No, this was actually the first Divas segment that I actually watched. The one afterwards, not. Well, I tuned in because I wanted to see what Brie was going to say about Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And then I heard the promo. Then I heard Charlotte's music, and I was actually intrigued. I'm like, okay, this is actually a clever way to get heat. Then she talked. Oh God, she talked. She sounded like she was reading off a script. I was looking at Brie in case she was holding up cue cards and Charlotte was just reading. There's a big issue that I have with this and Charlotte's character. Generally, when you put a manager with somebody, it's to cover their weakness of not being able to speak. Ric Flair's arguably one of the best promos, even though his speaking ability is definitely diminished. He'd still definitely be a step up above Charlotte. You've got Ric Flair. Use him to talk. Let Charlotte do a couple lines, let her do her woo. Just stop letting her talk. She can't. She might be his daughter, but she doesn't have his talent.
All right, everyone out there, you are listening to the most interactive post-Raw experience available, the Raw Post Show on Mega Powers Radio. Keep inviting you all out there to participate. Tweet to us at Raw Post Show, join the Facebook chat, or send a message to us on SpeakPipe using the widget on megapowersradio.com. Also on the show tonight, we had AJ Styles in a match against The Miz with Chris Jericho on commentary. Fine TV match, AJ Styles winning with the Calf Crusher. Very important, the Calf Crusher. Cool. I'm happy that he's showing a more versatile moveset and that he's winning matches and that Chris Jericho and him, they're teasing this match well for what they can with a rubber match. Chris Jericho came out, he showed a little bit of an attitude. AJ Styles says he wants to settle this between them at Fastlane, and Jericho's like, I don't know if I really want to face you. I'll think about it. Just some veteran mind games from Chris Jericho. And I a lot of people are kind of against this, making AJ Styles come off as sort of the untrained rookie. But I think it's fine to do that because, yeah, he's always been the big fish in small ponds, but now he's in the big time.
And Jericho did a very good job of telling that story on commentary. First off, this match, one of Miz's best, a very good match. Miz has improved. The gouging of his AJ's mouth and stuff. He did some really devious things. It was cool. He was wrestling like a heel. Jim Ross would be proud. But where was I going with this? Yeah, so Jericho on commentary. He was telling that story. He was saying, I went through a similar phase. I came from Japan. I won all these matches, got all this experience, but when I came to the WWE, it meant nothing. So, yeah, with that, you can't really argue that this feud's pretty solid. Mike's apparently feeling sick, so I'm finishing up.
No. Keep doing your thing.
Okay, so
now that you fucking exposed it on air, fucking Christ! All right, I was trying to do this smoothly, guys. We need to take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment. All right, folks, we're back. Sorry for that little bit of an interruption there. What are we on next here? We had just finished up talking about AJ Styles and The Miz. Next on the show, we had the Dudley Boys coming up for a heel promo, saying that there ain't gonna be no more tables.
Womp.
That's all people have wanted for them since they came back. Matter of fact, that was the whole story they had when they were going against New Day. They fought to be able to have tables, and now they're just going to say there ain't going to be no more tables.
The best thing they said during this promo is, we ain't going to be no nostalgia act. We're here for basically to take over, to win championships. It's good, because that's what they had been for a while, and they acknowledged that.
We'll come back to that a little bit later, but we had a match. Paige against Summer Rae. Summer Rae getting a roll-up victory here. The fuck?
Didn't watch, but who did you say she wrestled?
Paige.
And she beat Paige?
Yeah.
Ha!
I mean, Paige has been persona non grata the last few weeks. She just got completely lost in the shuffle of all these other women doing things. But
Maybe it's the wrong way to look at this, but I know Paige is the more talented of the two. But the more I see of her real life personality, the more I fucking hate her. So I'm totally okay with this.
That doesn't mean she needs to lose to Summer Rae.
No, I can't defend it, but I'm actually totally okay with it.
If she lost to Sasha Banks, that's fine. But you're just going to have her lose in a random roll-up to Summer Rae on Raw?
It could have been done better. They could have actually put someone over with that.
Exactly. You could have had Paige just staying quiet for a while, and then she could be, if you want to do all this stuff with the other women, have, in this scenario, say Sasha win the title at WrestleMania, and then her first big opponent could be Paige coming back. Now people are going to be like, Paige is nothing. she got rolled up by Summer Rae and sucks on Total Divas. That's what Paige's legacy is now.
Why was this even a segment? There was a few women's segments on this show, and this didn't need to be one.
Mauro Supremo saying maybe Summer is going to have a push. I cannot see it. And of all the other things going on right now, you think they're going to find time for a Summer Rae push? So what's the point of this? If it's not for a Summer Rae push, and I don't think that's going to be what it is.
I have no idea what they're doing. Did they mention on commentary at all? Were they pushing her strongly? Did she have anything coming up?
No, not really. I mean, Paige was the only person they showed before the match. They showed Paige, they show someone walking around in the back on their way to the ring. Smiling.
Do you think it was just for a shock and awe thing, but it really didn't make an impact because it was a nobody?
Perhaps. Or you know what they might be doing? Maybe they're going to put Paige on a losing streak so she has to redeem herself.
Harsh way to fall.
That's got to be what they're doing here.
Maybe she just brushed up against Vince Rugg and now she's getting jobber status.
We have Roman Reigns out along with Paul Heyman. They talk to each other for a while. Eventually, Paul Heyman sicks out the Dudley Boys to start beating up Roman Reigns. So that alliance is showing up. Dean Ambrose comes out for the save, but after they chase off the Dudleys, Dean Ambrose teases putting Roman Reigns into the dirty deeds. Doesn't actually complete it, but it was more like a little bit of a warning, like, hey, I could take you down just like that. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Enough to show that these guys are not afraid to beat the shit out of each other and do what they need to do to win at Fastlane without having someone turn heel tonight.
You know what's funny, though? Roman's reaction to it. It was a good one. Fist bump? Right? Fist bump? Yeah? Oh, cool. Fist bump.
It's like the one who's like he's in denial that the friendship is like on the outs.
Mm-hmm. So I actually liked that, and some of the faces he was making after Dean had turned his back. I was almost expecting, because they panned away from Roman, so I was expecting Dean to get speared.
And he had his back turned too.
Yeah, but apparently I think that was just a weird angle that Kevin Dunn, Jim Johnston's talented, Kevin Dunn was doing, which, on fairness, I actually liked that.
Yeah, Silent the Doom saying the fist bump made him feel like he has no clue what's going on either. Again, I think these guys are bros to the core, but it was just Dean Ambrose showing, hey man, this is for WrestleMania. This is for a chance at the title at WrestleMania. This is bigger than our friendship. Also,
they are telling a story, but he's frustrated that he needs Roman to always save him. So I'm intrigued what they're going to do for WrestleMania. I think we're getting Roman and Triple H because it's the story they've been setting up so long. But this episode would make you think that Dean Ambrose is the guy that's going to go after the title. And the more they do it, the more I like it better than Roman Reigns.
Oh, it's so much better. It's such a better option. And after this segment, I feel like if anyone is going to do something dastardly at Fastlane, it's going to be Roman. So, if he does that, and let's say Roman does something to win like that, wouldn't that make him heel? And then you have a heel Roman Reigns going against Triple H? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so that makes no sense unless they turn Triple H face or Triple H awards him the title or some shit.
Oh, that would be something different.
I don't think they'll do it, though. I think they've got a lot invested in Reigns. There's rumors that Cena is gonna come back early. They could pull the trigger on Reigns and Cena if they have Dean go up against Triple H.
They could. Huh. But then who does Taker face?
Braun fucking Strowman.
Damn it. Okay, well, we had, speaking of people we don't see very much, Zack Ryder came around for a Raw appearance, just to lose to Heath Slater, though. Slater's gonna slate.
Yeah, I skipped this.
Okay. R-Truth is out on a Valentine's date with his bae. I think that's what people call their significant others these days. Goldust in a waiter's outfit appears and presents them with champagne on the house. Yet when he goes to pop the cork, it sprays all over R-Truth's date while Goldust is holding the bottle in a very suggestive position.
Shit, it's not as suggestive as Biggie's taunt on the microphone.
That can't be PG. We had a six-man tag, Lucha Dragons and Neville going against the Liga Nations. I know you didn't even watch this. Liga Nations gets a victory with Alberto Del Rio doing the border jump with a little bit of a modified version of it. Rather than the opponent hanging in the corner, they were hanging from the middle of the ropes, which looked way better, and also Alberto Del Rio got a bigger jump on it, so he got more impact when he landed. It looked great. It's the best that move looked since the first time he's done it.
Cool. Be nice when we don't see it because Kalisto wins.
We had another honorary person for Black History Month, Booker T. I gotta say, I'm glad that if they're doing these, they're at least doing them on people I know, like Mark Henry and Booker T, and not Ernie Ladd.
Random black 70s wrestler did this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch, Divas match against Naomi. They had some kind of beef when Becky Lynch was arriving at the arena. Tamina super kicked her, and that was our setup for this. Becky gets a victory in this with the disarm her. Taomi. The fuck, that'd be a terrible tag team name. Tamina and Naomi.
Well, they're a terrible team.
Unity! Beat her up until Sasha Banks comes out for the save. Sasha looked fantastic. That's about all I can say for this.
Yeah, I was digging Sasha.
She was wearing them fancy tights.
More Sasha, less Taomi.
That just sounds like something gross.
You know what, though? It saves time saying the extra syllable, so I think I'm going to keep using that.
All right. Big Show versus Braun Strowman was our main event, guys. This was teased earlier in the night. They broke it on the WWE social media sites, and I don't think people got too excited. As soon as I saw that, it was like, breaking news, guys! Big Show versus Braun Strowman.
Yeah, as soon as I heard about that, I was very disappointed. I'm like, and when I realized I was going off the air with this, I'm like, fuck, really? This is the main event? And the match, by no means, it was great, but it wasn't horrible. It was just kind of there. Definitely not a main event, though. But nothing says great ending to a show like the return of Kane.
Well, the crowd still popped for it. Say what you will, but people will still pop for a Kane return.
He just had a fucking return. He returned and kicked the shit out of Seth Rollins.
Yeah, and people will still pop for it.
It's ridiculous. He can't stop returning.
And he even did the same thing coming through the ring. He just did that like a year ago too.
People give Jericho so much shit, but at least he isn't Kane level.
Yeah. He's not on the Neville level or the Kane level. Slightly below the Neville level, but still a good level to be at. No, Kane's the man. Kane, I think, is a guy who really does not get the respect he deserves. Same for Big Show. Big Show, who was the special guest on Steve Austin's live podcast. And a lot of people are shitting on that, and I don't get it. Big Show is an awesome veteran who's been there for a long time, been involved in a lot of cool situations, seen both sides of the Monday Night War, had a major impact with his defection. I don't see how people can hate on Big Show.
I actually don't get the hate either. And the fact is people like to shit on his wrestling ability. He is a better wrestler now than he ever was back in the Attitude Era.
I would agree.
matches he's had has been better. He moves around the ring really fast for somebody his size.
And
When he has one of the best spears in the company. Dude is awesome. Unfortunately, they just book him terribly. You use him as a monster heel, and you build him legitimately just going through people week to week to week, and you don't make him this guy that you just throw out there to put over your babyface of the week. He's got a lot to offer. Even as a babyface, he's got a lot to offer. Do you remember that feud with Cody Rhodes? That was sweet.
Oh, hell yeah.
Big Show's a great talent, and as much as it was crammed and forced down our throats when we didn't want it, when he was going up against the Authority, he didn't do a half-bad job.
No. I mean, people like to make fun of that segment when he was crying in the ring, but that crowd was fire during it.
Yeah, he can convey a lot more emotions than a lot of guys. Big Show is a great talent, and I'd say he's a better talent than Kane.
And very versatile, because he could do comedy as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just think about that segment with The Rock a few weeks ago. As
That's
great as
true.
The Rock was, he couldn't have done that without the Big Show reacting to it.
Yeah, and Show was perfect in that segment. He's like, you break things, that's great.
You're a big oaf. So yeah, Big Show. Deserves more props than you guys probably give him. But you already knew that. Speaking of props, they keep teasing a new award that they're going to be giving away, the Vince McMahon Sr. Award of Excellence. It's going to be presented next week. And this is so prestigious, and nobody deserved it until now.
I'm hoping that they build this up. Vince comes out to give the award and gives it to Triple H.
See, I was going to hope he gives it to himself.
I actually pitched that to Jana.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could see Vince just giving it to himself, but I don't know who that benefits other than Vince.
just another why can't I say that word? Megalomaniacal thing for him to do.
It'd be great if he made Titus bring out the award.
He should just make Titus the new Virgil.
Oh yeah, it'd be great to do during Black History Month.
It's almost over. We're over halfway over. It's a nice thing about February. It's short. You can get through it quick. Get on with your stories. Well, that's pretty much everything we had on Raw. It was a pretty uneventful show, unfortunately. And it is the go-home show to Fastlane. Wago, are you excited for it?
That was the go-home?
Yeah, this was the go-home to Fastlane.
Oh, fuck.
It took me about an hour and a half to get onto that realization, too.
Well, spoiler, Chris Jericho's answer on SmackDown will be yes.
Well, it better be. They don't have enough time to build another feud.
I know, right? Fuck. I'm excited for Dean Ambrose to win the triple threat match and go to WrestleMania and fight Triple H, but it's not going to happen, so what's the fucking point? So, no, fuck the show.
Settlement of Doom saying my friends don't believe it because it's at the Hall of Fame. I don't think they said anything that this award's being presented at the Hall of Fame.
No, it's next week, right?
Well, at least they're announcing who's getting it next week. They might still present it at the Hall of Fame, but they didn't say one way or the other, so I think that's a little presumptuous.
Well, Jana thought it was a legitimate award, and it still might be. First name she said was The Undertaker.
Oh, Undertaker would be great. What if they, if it was an actual award, what if they gave it to someone like, I don't know, Bernie Sanders? Well, that completely killed all thought.
Yeah, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I think they're a bigger supporter of Hillary. Actually, I imagine they're a bigger supporter of Donald.
Yeah, they've had Donald in the company.
Well, haven't they kind of washed their hands about that since he started becoming...
Okay, if he got presidency, you'd think they wouldn't go, we have a president in our Hall of Fame.
That's true. Well, hey, Obama was in that match. I have a favorite commercial for tonight. It was from Red's Apple Ale. It was set into this Dark Ages medieval European time, and the guy is stuck in his armor, and he says, "I need a wrench." And a person brings him a pretty lady, and he's like, "No, I said a wrench." I thought that was funny. Get it? A wrench?
Ha.
Yeah.
Jokes.
All right. Well, let's do our good, bad, and ugly. We're going to talk about the best part of the show, the worst part of the show, and the most god-awful, must-avoid part of the show. If you have a good, bad, and ugly, drop it in the chat, and we'll read it. Fucking Christ. Yes, it is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Wago, what's your GBU?
So for the good, it has to go to AJ Styles versus The Miz, and I'm not sure if that's just my biased opinion on Styles or the fact that it was just a kick-ass match. For the bad, it's the booking of Dean Ambrose, because if it turns out that he's gonna go to WrestleMania, then I'll be wrong, and I'll be glad to admit it. I want that to happen. But the fact is, it's more than likely just a cock tease. And there was no reason for him to ever get the IC belt. And he's going to be in some just random match at Mania. So, that's my bad, and I might get proven wrong later, and I hope so. For the ugly, Charlotte's promo. Christ, I swear to God she had cue cards.
And Rick was really trying to, not look embarrassed while she was talking. He was
just smiling so hard. And nodding his head.
Peter Piccanini in the chat says, good opening between Dean and Stephanie. The bad, too many Divas segments. The ugly, Roman talks. Silent Window Doom saying, good. Champagne, bad. The Dean Roman segment teasing a split and then making it really confusing and non-committal. That's just your problem that you have commitment problems, Silent Window Doom. They're committed to being bros, and if you can't understand that story, then you just don't understand friendship. Ugly. Silent Window Doom. All right, and Moro Supremo says, good. Fatal five-way, cool match, bad. That ending to the Mark Henry versus Big E match, ugly. Stop putting Dolph and Owens. Oh, we're getting a lot of these in here right now. Bon Druce, good. Jericho's and AJ's promo, bad. Charlotte promo, I feel let down, and ugly. Main event, never drive home the pay-per-view. That's true. Main event did absolutely nothing to do that unless we're having a Big Show Braun Strowman rematch there.
Terrible, image to go off air with.
And who didn't predict that match was going to end in interference?
I know, but such a thrown-together match. You realize that they fucked up and didn't have anything planned ahead of time.
Well, for me, the good I am going to give to Dean Ambrose's performance as a whole tonight. He was just on point. These last few weeks, we've really seen the ascension of Dean Ambrose coming out. And I agree, if he is not being set up to come into this world title at WrestleMania, it is a big, big mistake. Bad, I have to give to Summer Rae randomly rolling up Paige. What the hell is going on with that? Ugly. Goldust and his champagne suggestive actions.
Yeah, it didn't sit well with me either. It was a really dumb segment.
It was just really crass. You know?
He hasn't had much... Sorry, go on.
Am I just getting old?
No, I don't think it was that. Because he did a lot of this type of thing with Booker T, and I'll go back and those segments are still funny, but he hasn't got the same chemistry with Truth.
I think he has the chemistry with Truth. I just didn't think it was necessary to do that. The sexual things and all that, I just don't think that has a place anymore. I think wrestling has evolved past that. Maybe it'll come back around to that, or maybe it'll work with certain characters, but just to insert it anywhere...
This was just badly done.
It was very badly done. And Goldust should stop putting those little marks on his lips. Those are weird, too. I don't know if he's trying to look like Jack Skellington or what, but I've had enough of that.
The fact that it annoys you is the reason you should keep doing it.
Okay. I have some games prepared, but it's just you, so we can't really do that. So I guess I'll just save these games for next week. So that's going to be all, guys. Wago, tell these people what you want to tell them before we leave them.
Well, first off, I think I should get a 10-point lead next week based on no one showing up. But until then, you can check me out at Stephen Wago on the Twitter. StephenWago.com, which will take you to my Tumblr where you can find all my links. And check out Mike Paden's stream. I picked up an awesome game because I just sat there and watched. You could do the same.
Oh, nice plug. If you enjoyed this edition of the Raw Post Show, you can find us every single week here live on Mega Powers Radio. As soon as Raw goes off the air, tune your browser to that address, and you will be tuned into the most interactive post-Raw experience available. We'll take your tweets. We got the chat room rolling. Everything else, we get your words in here. When we come back to you next week, it's going to be the night after Fastlane. I'm sure WWE will have a much more impressive show for that, especially because that's officially the start of the build to WrestleMania that night. There's nothing else in between. Hey, Mike, if I call in, can we play some games? To what? Twitch? I don't take calls on Twitch. You can go to the chat room there. I don't give out my phone number while I'm on Twitch. I'm sorry, man. But yeah, as Wago said, find me on Twitch. Search for me at MRPADEN. That's Mr. Paden, same name I use on Twitter and all my other social media sites. You can find me on there. I've been playing games like Super Mario 64, Truck Simulator. I've been starting up The Wolf Among Us and some other cool games. I might actually head over there later tonight. So if you haven't yet and you're on Twitch, head there, find Mr. Paden, and follow me so you might find me on there. And make sure you hit that little check mark that gives you an alert when I actually go live so you can get alerted as soon as that happens. And for everybody else, smarkoutmoment.com, fanboysanonymous.com, Drew Crew. All right, folks, that's all we got. Until next week, folks, I'm Mike Paden for Stephen Wago. Catch y'all on the flip-flop.